What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome down to the DJ's Guru studio. It is April 22nd, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we are here for a big show. I'm super excited if you can't tell. We have the Rane Mixer Forum, but it's not just a Rane Mixer Forum with me, because why would you want to watch that? It's a Rane Mixer Forum with Andrew and Jake from Rane, and our favorite DJ from Rane, DJ Shortee, who you've seen with me before, who has been a mentor to me, so to speak, and has helped me so much over the last year, not just as a person, but she's actually going to be helping me out with DJing, and we'll talk more about that soon. So I want to welcome everybody down. I want to say hello to any of our new viewers here. Thank you, Rane, for sharing this. We are going to see a lot of new people today. So I'm Justin Schwartz. I'm the founder and the content director here at the DJ's Guru, and we are doing a deep dive today into the Rane series of mixers, because there's been so much happening over the last year and a half. And I remember right after NAMM 2020, Rane made waves with the Rane 70, and it was like you couldn't get it for 6, 7, 8 months. 2 months later, after the Rane 70 came out, what happened? The pandemic, and it just kind of screwed everything up. And Rane 1 has come out, incredible controller, and has taken up so much bandwidth from the Rane family. And I think that we wanted to take the spotlight and just remind people, oh yeah, Rane has some pretty amazing mixers too. So what happened about 2 weeks ago was DJ Shortee reached out to me and she said, hey, I have an original 72. I think it's time I make the change over to the MK2. Can you help me out? And I found that to be a great opportunity to say, hey, let's get you hooked up. We'll get you the 72 MK2. Do you think you'd come on and do a show with us, and we can talk about the experience of it, go through some of the features? And she was totally on board. So really excited about bringing her on. And then, of course, I got Rane involved, because if you're going to have DJ Shortee, why not have Rane involved with you as well? Andrew and Jake Andrew is our senior and national sales manager for the entire country, and Jake is the senior marketing manager for Rane. So any questions that we're going to have today, you don't have to worry about me answering them. These guys will answer them for you, and then Shortee is going to go through everything for us, and we're very excited to get a performance from her as well, plus a big announcement on something that she has coming forth as well. So real quick, I want to go through a couple things and talk to our audience. Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Thank you for anyone watching on the replay. Real quick, someone's missing, right? Where is Jason? Where is Jason? Is he with Hanson? Is he, as usually, being this luxury event DJ? No, actually, it's his wife's birthday. So happy birthday, Mrs. Jason. And this guy actually was gonna miss his wife's birthday to do the show. So that's loyalty for you, Jason. I love you. And we miss you, and we'll see you on the next one. Happy birthday, Mrs. Jason. I want to do a vibe check. I think everyone's doing better, right? I think parties are coming back, gigs are coming back, clubs are opening up. I just heard 50% in New York for sports arenas and games. Things are starting to loosen up. It's all good news, so I'm hoping everyone is doing well out there. If you're not, reach out to me. I'm always here to help anyone out there. I'm not just here to sell you gear. I thank everyone for their support. I really do. So without any further ado, I want to just say that I personally have used Rane since 1999. I started on an MP24 at an old club. I never worked on Rane before in my life. It just sounded great. It just worked great. It was easy. I'm like, wow, I feel like I mixed better on this thing. A few years later, they came out with the MP44. It was an MP24 with a 3-band EQ on each channel. Unbelievable. I went out and bought it. I still have it to this day. Can't kill the thing. Works incredible. If you ever see me live stream and you see that big box, it's my Rane MP44 and my Denon DND 6000, so I could play my old CDs because I'm lazy and I don't want to convert them. And I just have gems in there that I have to play. So I have a history with Rane. I have always loved Rane as a dance music DJ, and we'll talk more about the origin and kind of the transition that we've had with Rane. So I'm going to bring on my buddy Andrew, and I'm going to bring on Jake from Rane. How you doing, guys?
What's up, Justin?
How are you? So thank you so much for coming on with us today. Really appreciate it, and I really appreciate having you guys on. So how you guys been? I haven't seen you in a virtual world in a while. We've talked, but I haven't seen you guys face to face like this in a while. How's everything been?
Everything's great. As you said, parties are coming back. Things are opening up again. A lot of excitement in what's to come later in this year, getting past this pandemic stuff. People are getting their vaccines. People are feeling more comfortable going out. I'm really looking forward to being back in front of big crowds and playing again.
What about you, Jake?
Yeah, same. Excited. Well, I'm in Florida, so it's a little different world. but I'm excited to see the rest of the country follow suit, lighten restrictions, open up. DJs getting back to work. A lot of good DJ friends have been out of work for a while. So glad to see them gigging again, and it makes us happy for sure.
And you know what's really cool about this stream, guys, and gals. We're gonna bring on a gal too. Not anyone on this stream tonight is not a DJ. We're all DJs here. Not only do we work in the DJ business in sales or marketing or what have you, education like Shortee, we're all DJs at heart. Andrew, you're doing a club? Can I see that? Are you on a flyer still?
Not yet. A couple of outdoor gigs, loungy type spots.
You're out there, man. You're like big time.
Lounge. I hope to be big time. I hope to be big time once again.
You're still working on
it. Yeah. But yeah, again, little by little, a little more here. Outdoor stuff is big right now. Doing a spot in Brooklyn, which is really cool. Just a lot of fun, a cool vibe. People are drinking and hanging out, and it's an old location that used to be a bunch of factories. So it's become bars and shopping, and just a really super cool spot.
Jake, you've been working this whole time?
Yeah, off and on. I have a wedding this weekend, and I'm flying up to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is where I moved to Florida from. And I've been here 6 years, and I'm still doing weddings back there, every year.
Wait, are you a luxury events DJ like Jason?
I pretty much. I think I'm close to that status. I don't know.
Have you ever opened for Hanson?
No,
No?
only Two Live Crew, but like 2017 Two Live Crew, and yeah, they weren't quite the same.
One hit, I got it. Well, anyway, I'm really glad to have you guys on. We're going to talk about Rane mixers today, but before we get into that, I did want to say hello to our audience again. Hello, Ronnie. How are you, pal? Good to see you. Thanks for checking in. And I'm the DJ. How are you? What's going on, my friend? We want to just give a quick update on the Rane 1 because, that's the question that I get a lot. When are they going to be more available? The simple answer that I give everyone really is that it's like the only thing that people are asking me for. So the demand is just super, super high. It just seems like Rane can't make them fast enough. So that seems to be what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, but I wanted to kind of hear from you. And you did say you would give us an update. So.
Yeah, that's really the case. I mean, it's the success has been explosive. It's been accepted tremendously by many different genres of DJs, and really, bringing the old school into the new school with the motorized platters. But the simple answer is we just can't make them fast enough. The demand is there. I encourage everybody to hold on to their back orders. Don't cancel yours with your favorite dealer. We are distributing them fairly and to everybody in the country. So just be patient and bear with us. Your wait and patience will be rewarded. It's an amazing controller and really a great product.
Anything to add on that, Jake? Or
no.
You pretty much echo the same thing?
Right? Oh, yeah. We hear it all the time. We can post anything totally unrelated to the Rane 1, and that's the first question we get. And he's exactly right. We're getting them out as fast as we can make them, and it's just the demand it's hard to keep up to it.
All right. So I really wanted to get that out of the way, so I hope that answers everyone's questions. And if you do have any additional questions on Rane mixers, on anything from Rane, other than when am I going to get my Rane 1, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. We're definitely going to do a Q&A after, and we're excited to answer any questions. Rane 70, Rane 72 MK2 came out, and, to me, it was just bad timing. You had this great mixer that was just kind of redone and added to and really improved, and it just came at a time when people kind of weren't really looking in that direction. So I was really excited to get an opportunity to to get that call from Shortee, who I'm going to bring out very shortly, and we'll kind of go through everything. And Jake has a Rane 70, so we'll kind of talk about the Rane 70, the Rane 72. Shortee uses a 72. There's specific reasons why she does, but we want to kind of talk about those differences. Of course, the improvements on the 72, and then we're going to figure out, who should be buying a 70, who should be buying a 72, and what makes the most sense. Because what I do with the DJ's Guru is I want to make sure that the information out there is accurate and that everyone has the best information to make a buying decision that is the best fit for their needs, not what everyone else is buying, right? Why would I buy a 72 if I don't need it? And if I need the 72, but everyone's telling me to buy the 70, you don't need the 72, I'm not going to assume that. I want to know the real truth, and I want to make a decision for myself. So that's generally my goal. And I think the perfect person to kind of go through this with us is my friend, DJ Shortee. How are you?
Hey! Hey, how are you? So good to see you guys. Hey, Rane. Yay, Rane. Gotta do the happy dance.
So, wow. We've come a long way, haven't we, Shannon?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we met pre-pandemic in the year 2020. I believe it was 2020 January before the ish hit the fan. We met in the Rane booth in the upstairs where like all the business talks are happening, not the downstairs showcase booth, but the upstairs where all the business happens. Where the magic happens, I guess. And that's where we met, and we just connected instantly. And I think we became friends before we became associates, although I know that the reason why we were linked is because I did something with Rane and iDJ Now. And at the time, Justin, you worked with iDJ Now. And so you had heard of me through that, and I had done that promotion with them. So that was our connection. But we really clicked as friends. And then just started chatting and then started seeing all these different ways we align. And that was in 2020. And now it's like, what, a year and a half later? And here we are.
Yeah,
and the DJ's Guru is here too. That didn't exist.
I mean, it's so in line with everything that Shortee is, as far as education, as far as understanding what you're doing with what you're doing, as far as making the right purchases. She doesn't just teach you how to DJ or scratch. She teaches you how to be a DJ, how to be a business, how to be a brand. And everything that you see in front of you with her, she's going to show you how to do that. So I just thought that everything she's about made so much sense. And that's why we're going to talk about something that you're doing later. But let's get back to Rane. And I want to first talk, Jake, I want to bring you back onto this because before we go too crazy into the 72, let's talk about the 70, which was something that came out in when we met at NAMM. That's actually when this thing came out. And let's kind of talk about some of the major things that were taken away when you made the 70 and why that came out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the obvious main thing is a screen. And that was, taken out for a number of reasons. Well, it reduces the cost of the unit, but also, some DJs may feel like they don't need the screen. I honestly was one of those, like, I started on a 56, and then I remember when the 62 came out, I was like, oh, I like that 62. It may be a little too complicated. I'm going to get the 61. So I got the 61, which I still have, and I used it for the longest time. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to get that 70. That looks like I'm kind of a minimalist, and like I just need two 12s and a mixer with 2 channels, and I'm good. But then I got the 72 Mark II when I came on board for Rane. And then I was like, well, why is I so afraid of this screen? It's not hard to navigate. It's easy to get to the effects. 9 out of 10 DJs just need to get to that echo as soon as they can. And it's really easy to get to. And then what's really cool is on the 72 Mark II, you have so much more control over your effects. And it's super visual because it's just right there on the screen, big and bright. And the 70 is great. And the effects are great. They have the parameters to control them are great, but it's just not as visual. You have to dive into the menu to get to the adjustments for them. Whereas on the 72, it's more visual. And I like to think of the 2 mixers. 70's awesome. 72 is more awesome for somebody that doesn't want to spend as much time on their laptop, because you can do so much more with the screen in terms of library management and then just navigating through sets and things like that. So really, that's to me the screen's obviously the biggest difference, and they're both killer mixers. I mean, but I just want DJs to know, don't be afraid of the screen. You can do so much with it. It's not hard at all, and you can access things so much quicker than on the 70.
All right, now piggybacking off of that, now we're going to go into the 72, and we're going to kind of talk about some of the advancements in the 72 MK2, because the Rane 70 also has those same pieces, and it makes sense to talk about it that way. So, Shortee, how are you?
I'm good. Right? How are you? I'm doing good.
I mentioned that you look great tonight. You really do. You look fantastic, as always.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank you.
So do all of you.
I appreciate that. So you called me up a couple weeks ago, and you're like, yo, I literally wiki'd out my 72. It's like, I destroyed it, you know, and I can't, you're a beast, so I can imagine that. And you're like, I'm ready for the MK2. How do I make this happen fast? So, of course, you called me, and I got it to you pretty quickly. You know, a little bit of red tape.
Yes,
we got
it.
We got it. And now you have it. So why don't you show it to us?
Okay, sure. Well, I did not, just to clarify, I did not wreck my other one. It's still in very functional condition. I really just wanted another one because I have a setup with 12s, and these usually live downstairs in my living room. So usually when you all see, if you ever see like a live stream of me teaching, I'm usually teaching on turntables. The reason for that is not because I don't love the 12s, but it's because it's actually the first turntables I ever learned on, and it helps bring me back to that beginner's mindset when I teach, and it's just a sentimental connection. But that said, these were downstairs in my living room, and I couldn't use them unless I took the mixer that I have up here in my studio down into the living room, because they only worked with the 72. I have 62s, I have 56, I have 57s. I've been with Rane forever. So I was like, Justin, hook me up. And plus I wanted to see the MK2, like what was all the fuss about. And I will say that like instantly my other 72, the MK1, the fader, if anyone's ever worked on it, it was really weighted. They had a really heavy weight in there. And some people like that because they don't want the fader to like bounce, you know, like how mine's really kind of loose and it bounces like this. But I'm a scratch DJ. I want that looseness. And so what I did is I took that weight out. I actually had a friend of mine help me, Jesse Dean from Jesse Dean Designs, and we took out the heavy weight and put in a lightweight in the fader, so now my old fader actually feels like the new fader, the Mag 4 of the new MK2, which is much looser. So it's not as weighted, but the awesome thing about the MK2 is that the MK1, in order to adjust the tension of the fader, you had to unscrew the whole faceplate and like dig in, and that, I mean, even for the most technical person, it's still kind of a pain, you know. And then if you're not technical, you're like, oh my god, I don't want to mess with my mixer. So it has a tension screw right here. I don't think you can see it, but it's this little screw right here where now you can adjust the tension and make it tight or loose. And so now, like, look, it's not bouncing, right? It's like, it's kind of really stiff, and I have the tension like all the way up, right? So now it's like this. So if you are a mixing DJ that prefers to mix with the fader and you want more control, you know, this is a really easy way to switch between that for mixing and then, you know, go loose for scratching. Although I always leave it on loose and I mix with my up and downs, but not everyone mixes like me. So I really love this addition. Also, and Andrew and Jake can go in deeper, but the faders are all Mag 4 faders. I believe in the MK1 it was Mag 3, so they're updated faders, which is really nice. And I could go into more features, but I think we were just talking about the faders. I can't. What do you want me to continue with additional features or?
You know what I want to ask real quick, because you just touched on it.
Because I'll just keep running if you don't shut me up.
Oh, we know. I know. It's like 10 o'clock. It's like, sure,
right, exactly.
The looseness
I'm
of
like,
the
but
fader.
the fader.
I will say, though, no, but seriously, that's a big thing to think about, because scratch DJ, right? And we talked about this, you know, she's not only just a scratch DJ. She plays drum and bass. She mixes. She uses her channel faders, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we look at like other mixers and they only focus on the crossfader, right? And the channel faders might not be as good. And in the open format DJ world that we're in now, where things are starting to blend. The club and the wedding world, like the music is really starting to blend. So you're not just scratching, you're mixing too. So not only do you have the Magvel on the crossfader, but you also have that same awesome fader on the channel faders. Is that right, guys?
Yeah, it's
Andrew?
the same fader on the up channels and the crossfader. It's a Mag 4 fader. Yep.
Jake, why did Rane, do you think, decide to do that instead of, just maybe saving a few bucks and not do that?
Well, the Mag 3 fader was a good fader, but it kind of catered more toward one style. If you like a weighted fader, then it's a great fader. But, one nice thing about Rane that I've learned with my time in the company is we listen. And since we don't have multiple levels of bureaucracy, somebody can say, I really would like this. And the company will say, oh, we can do that. It's either here's a firmware update, or if it's hardware, we'll say we'll work on a second version. So that's why the Mag 4 came out, and especially the adjustment, the tension adjustment on it. Because like Chris Carnes, for example, he didn't really like to juggle on the Mag 3 as much, or no, on the Mag 3 on the MK1 because the tension adjust was there and too much bounce, so he wanted to be able to adjust the tension. So that's why he got a MK2, because it works better for when he wants to juggle. And then if he wants to cut and wants it really light crossfader, it's just a turn the knob away, and there you go. So yeah, mainly just listening to DJs and trying to make the best product we can.
Shortee, for you, for someone who does multiple genres of music, tell me about how it is important for you to make sure you have that same fader on every single channel for you.
Because I use all three. That's
that
why.
simple, right?
I mean, you don't. If some DJs only put these. Oh, let me go to the overhead. Only put these faders all the way up, and then they fade left to right, and that's how they mix, right? But I don't mix like that. I mix with up and downs because you, in my opinion, you have way more control. I mean, I can start something halfway volume, cut it in, and get it all the way up, and then just fade this a little bit or leave it all the way up. And these they're not tied to each other. When you mix with the crossfader, it's glued together. Like one side affects the other, and there's no detaching them. So I prefer to mix all genres of music, no matter what genre I'm mixing. I mix with the up and downs, and then, plus just the distance here. I mean, you have this much distance where if you're mixing like here, it's only halfway where you're like full volume, depending on how you have it set. But I mean, it's just like, or it's like full volume all the way over here, but then it's getting quieter over here, and you can't, like I said, detach them. So having the faders all be the same and consistent, I know what to expect. Also, these are a little more weighted than the crossfader, or at least how I have the crossfader set. I would say they're like a medium weight. They're not like super stiff, like, I'm not pushing really hard to get it up there, but it's not as light as the loosest adjustment here, which is really effective for mixing, because mixing, you want to have like some tension. You don't want it just to fly up and all of a sudden it's like you blew the speakers and you never get booked at that club again. So that's why it's super important to me, and I like the little bit of tension. One feature request I would ask for is maybe some tension adjustments for the up and downs too, because there's a lot of scratch DJs that do like to use the up and downs for technical scratches, and you have the reverse switch so you can make it cut in, super, or I'm sorry, not reverse. You have the curve, so you can adjust the curve so it cuts in right away. So you could scratch just like a normal crossfader with your up and downs. So if I had a way to adjust the tension on the up and downs, that would be even bigger upgrade. But personally, I don't use the up and downs as much to scratch as some other DJs. So I'm really happy with the way they are, and the quality of them is, they're all the same. So they all sound the same. You don't want one to be like fading in all wonky and then the crossfader to be like on fire and amazing. So you want consistency, definitely. Sure. And that really resonated with me when you said that, Justin, about some mixers will just cheap out on the up and downs and just put all their, and those are usually mixers geared towards scratch DJs, but scratch DJs mix too. We need good up and down faders.
Yeah, and my buddy Pat at InnoFader makes that pointed that out to me. I remember when it first came out, and it struck a chord with me. That's super important. Now, real quickly, you use the 72. We talked to Jake before about the 70, and the major difference, other than the price obviously is, and what really that major difference is the screen. So Jake talked about why you wouldn't want a screen, maybe why you would, but for someone that in every picture I see a Rane mixer, a different one. Well, except for this one, of course. I don't see a Rane mixer in this picture, and I don't know. I think this next picture I found on IMDb.
Yes, that's my very first
this one.
headshot. That's my very first headshot. I'm also an actor.
What is that?
That was a scene. I was a waitress.
You know what I forgot to do? Because not everyone knows your story. So you know what I have here tonight to tell your story?
Who do you have?
Arsenio Hall.
Oh my goodness! How'd you get him on your show?
Well, I figured. I mean, come on, it's very simple. I just ask. So I figure I'm bringing Arsenio Hall.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna let you tell your story. Are you ready?
All right, I'm ready.
DJ Shortee. Yes. Have a seat, everybody. Hey, DJ Shortee, how you doing? You know what? You look like a really young soccer mom. I wouldn't expect, if I saw you in the mall, that you were a DJ. How did you get into this?
Well, I was a drummer. I started out as a drummer in a punk rock band, and I was in college, and I was into going to hip-hop shows and raves, but I never really respected the DJ as a musician. I was like, wicked, that's so easy. Anyone can do that.
Yeah.
And then my boy was like, yo, you got to come over to my house. I got my friend. He's scratching in my living room. So I went over, and I saw this guy, and he was amazing. He completely blew my mind, and he was like, yo, you could learn really easy. Let me teach you. He was also kind of hitting on me, and 19 years later, we're married.
Oh, really? Cool. Yes.
And he's right there.
Where is he? Raise your hand, sir. Hey, there he is. Yes.
All right. You like that? Was
Wow,
that good?
I can't believe you got him on your show. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, I had to plug him at the end. That's why we had that at the end. So, that said, let's say hello to some of your fans, Shortee.
Hi,
Hello, Kristen. What's going on?
Hi, Kristen.
What's up,
I see you in the chat.
Randy, all the way from Hawaii.
Wow.
How are you, Randy? What's going on, pal?
He's saying blow the fader across.
Oh, she can do it.
I can do it. Watch.
Hey, what's up, John?
I wouldn't recommend that, though. You're getting all sorts of spit in your fader, so don't do that.
Yeah, no good. What's up, Joel? This guy is
Hey,
like
Joel.
Mr. Rane. He just bought a new Mark Scratch actually too, but he's just picked up 12 suits, so he's excited to watch this show tonight. So just wanted to say hello to everybody. Now, Shortee, wow, I mean that was exciting, huh?
What was exciting? The Arsenio Hall show?
Yeah, and
Oh,
he got as soon as he found out you were married, he walked right away.
Yeah, I was like, wait,
Right?
I gotta call him out. He's in the audience. He didn't know what I was gonna say, though. We didn't have a pre-interview. I think I just shocked him. But yeah, that was actually and I've been a DJ since 1995. I've done all kinds of amazing gigs, festivals, nightclubs, special events, all kinds of stuff. That gig is my all-time favorite gig out of anything I've ever done. And it's not because, God bless him, it's not because of Arsenio Hall, although he's great and he's funny and I love him and I'm old enough to have watched the 1.0 version of his show, and so I've always been a fan. But that's not why. The reason why is because I got to jam with the funkiest band in late night, the Posse 2.0, and we were playing in and out of commercial breaks, so you don't even, there's no really recording of the magic that really happened, and I don't care, because it was just so fun. We were playing P-Funk and all these, funk covers that were so much fun, and I wasn't DJing, I was scratching with them, so I was soloing with them, we were jamming, each person got a solo in the songs, and I mean, these musicians, the keyboardist is Beyonce's keyboardist. She also is the keyboardist for Stevie Wonder. Shaka Khan's guitarist is Rob, he's the guitarist. The bassist, John Legend, they play forever. It's a laundry list of who's who of who this band, these band members play for, and they were amazing. So if I could just play funk with a funk band during commercial breaks, and even if nobody saw, I don't care, because that's how fun that gig was. So yes, my all-time favorite gig for that reason.
Love it. Now, before we get more into the mixer, we talked a little bit about your history with Rane, and how far do you go back with them?
Wow, since I would say, well, since I started, so my first mixer was, it was an MTX mixer with a rigged fader. And then we got a Gemini mixer, a little Gemini scratch master mixer. It was tiny. I got that. It was my husband and I, right, who I pointed out in the interview. So we got that, but then our cat peed in the mixer. So we had to go back to the MTX, right? But so we had the,
yeah, that her cat peed in the mixer, yes.
Yes. His name was Fatty. He peed in the mixer. So then that mixer just became like a fader practice tool, but we couldn't use it. And so we went back to the MTX. But at all the clubs we went to, it was always Rane mixers. It was the MP24. So it was a big, long one. I wish we had a screenshot of it. It was a big, long, narrow one with an EQ that was for the whole entire mixer, not every channel. Like it had volume faders. It was a 4-channel mixer, but the EQ was like just for the master. And the fader was not vertical, it was turned to the side. So for scratching, it was not conducive to scratching at all. But that is what I played in at a lot of raves and clubs when I was first coming up. And then in 1997, I battled in the Fever Buzz Battle of the DJs in DC, which was like the biggest battle on the East Coast for mixing. And I scratched, of course, during the battle. And that was the mixer that I battled on. And it was 2 nights worth. And I had to make it through the semifinals and go to the finals and all that stuff. And I won on that mixer. So I have a very, very sentimental attachment to Rane 2, because a lot of my history, that was a huge milestone for me. It put me on the map in a lot of ways. This was 1997, 2 years after I started DJing. And so when it came time to upgrade our mixers. We were scratch DJs. So at the time, Vestax was around, and I was in a crew with Craze and Shotgun and Clever and King James and Faust, and we were the Third World Citizens. It was a turntablist crew. So we were the last people in the crew to get the Vestax mixer, the 05 Pro. And as turntablists, it was all about the fader back then.
Where are they now?
Right, exactly. But, it was, everyone wanted that mixer as well, so because the Scratch Pickles were sponsored and they were pushing it like really hard. So I would practice on that mixer, but the EQ left so much to be desired, and it wasn't really a good mixing mixer unless you're just cut and paste right. So then I was like looking for a more mixy mixer, and then finally Rane came out with the 56. And that's when I actually purchased my first Rane mixer. And that was, I guess, 98 or 99, around there. And then, or maybe 2000. And Andrew, you may be able to correct me on the dates. But it was hazy. It was around there sometime. And then that is from the 56 to the 57 to the 62, even the 64. We've done, and then at that point, by the year 2000, I was sponsored by Rane. And so then, anytime they come out with a new product, they'd ask my husband and I to demo it. And also part of the connection with Rane that we had back then is it wasn't owned by In Music at the time. It was more kind of a family style owned business. And the woman that owned it was Linda Arink, and she was the first woman in like music technology to own and be a CEO of a company, like a music technology company like this. And especially in the DJ world. And so we instantly connected, because remember, this is like 2000, and back then female DJs were not as prominent as they are now. I mean, there's still not as many as males out there, but there's way more females now than there were back then. So we had that connection, and she always supported me, and I think that is one of the reasons why I had such a good connection with the company in general, because they really cared about the people and the artists that they work with, but also on that level, like it was like girl power, So I basically learned every mixer, and then I remember when they came out with the 57, and I had the beta version of the 57, and that was the first one where you could like control Serato with it, and it had all these groups that you go in, and it was like really technical, and but it was like groundbreaking at the time, and they wanted me to demo it and also teach how to use it at NAMM. And I remember my husband, he'll remember this too, I had poster boards all over my wall in my studio with all the different groups, and it looked like I was like doing this crazy investigation, tying strings to different things or something, because I was learning all the features of the mixer so that I can then teach it. And I only had it for like 2 weeks before NAMM, so I was going crazy, like crash course studying the mixer. And I fell in love with that mixer after learning everything about it. And I stayed with the 57 for a really long time until they came out with the 62, and then of course fell in love with the 62. Now we had the 5 buttons. Now, you know, so they were right here. It was only just 5. You didn't have the 8 pads. We weren't there yet. But that alone, to be able to control that was amazing. It took a lot of the stuff that was in the 57, a lot of the greatness, and made it more accessible with the controls on the mixer. And then of course the 64 was like the 4-channel version of that. And there's a routine on YouTube you can look up of DJ Faust, my husband, and I doing a Urban Assault as a team. When we play together, we're Urban Assault, and we produce together as Urban Assault. And we're doing a 4 turntable set with 2 CDJs and 2 turntables and the 64. And that mixer is great too, but we're more 2-channel DJs, like personally, so we never really DJ'd out with that. It was always the 62. So then when the 72 came out, and then of course In Music bought Rane, and we had that transition or whatever.
Well, I'm gonna stop you there.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna
I got stories about it, so.
Let's pass the baton to Andrew.
Okay.
And let's let him kind of just segue off of everything that you said, what I said earlier about my history with Rane and the loyalty that I have to the brand. And I want Andrew to kind of, because Andrew's a DJ like I am, like Jake is, like you are, and he has, you know, a lot of feelings about this and reasonings behind why this all happened, so he wants to talk about it, and I wanted to give him that opportunity.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, good. And Shorty, your timelines are actually pretty spot on. I'll fill in some of the before and then up into the current. So Rane started in 1981, building small mixers and processing really for bands. I'm going to date myself here, but a guy named Richard Long, who used to build nightclub systems, built a famous system in Studio 54 in New York. He went to Rane and said, hey, I need somebody to build this processor for me. I can't hand make them all. So he went to Rane, and that started the whole history of Rane in the club market. A few years later, they came out with the MP24, which, by the way, was my first mixer, my first mobile mixer. It was in every club in the 90s. In the late 90s, they got together with some scratch DJs and designed the TTM54, which was the first scratch mixer from Rane. That was like 98, I think. And then it progressed from there. Also, but in the late 90s, they made a new club mixer called the MP2016, which took some cues off the old mixers from the late 70s, really late 70s, 80s, and into the late 80s. So it looked like a retro mixer, but it had all the new technology. So bringing it up into the present day, Rane was acquired by In Music in 2016, but I don't want to call it a transition. I'd rather call it kind of a continuation. So we kept the office in Washington. The engineers are still in Washington, and we kept the Rane. Everybody knows Rane is an industrial quality product, the best sound quality, the best build quality, really reliable, really heavy duty, something you can rely on every weekend. So we took that, and then we added our own innovation and technology, and out came the 72. We also came out with the 12, which was the first of its kind, a dedicated motorized controller for Serato. And that kind of brings us to where we are today.
Shorty.
Yes.
Why do you need a screen?
Why do I need a screen?
Yeah.
It's so funny that you ask me that. Well, the reason why I didn't need one for many, many, many years, because I didn't know I needed one. And so, well, actually, I guess I did know I needed one when Final Scratch came out, and we started using Final Scratch. This was pre-Serato. And so we're then using the screen on the laptop. And it's like wow, this opens up a whole new world, right? But on the mixer, you know, I didn't think I needed that on the mixer. You know, I'm like, I just need 2 channels, a really dope EQ, a good preamp in the mixer so it sounds good. That's one of the reasons why I've always used Rane also, is the sound quality, like Andrew said. But yeah, and then I could just look at the computer. And it wasn't till the 72 came out that the screen and like the 62 had a little tiny screen, a little digital screen, you know, where you could adjust your effects parameters and stuff like that, which was super helpful to be able to do that. I don't think the 57 didn't even have a screen on it. I don't think. God, it's been so long. I haven't looked at it in a while. So bring up one of those photos so we can look at it. But I'm pretty sure it didn't have a screen on it of any sort. So the 62 had the little screen, and that was helpful. But then once 72 came out, I was like, oh yeah, there you go. Once the 72 came out, I was like, oh my gosh, where have you been all my life? Stop showing that headshot. I was like, where have you been all my life? There's so much, like, so now going back, like when the 70 came out, I was like, oh, this is cool for an entry. I looked at it like an entry level mixer, leading in more for people who weren't ready for the 72 or people who were intimidated by the 72 like Jake was talking about. But for me, I'm a very sensory person. So seeing, smelling, feeling, hugging, touching, like that's how I learn best. That's how I perform best. So the more I can see and hear, and so this, it really, I still look at my laptop a lot for different things, but this like frees that up. So I used to always put my laptop on the side, which is where it is now too. And that's only because I'm short and I couldn't see over it, or it would also be like a disconnect to the audience, like they couldn't see me. So I always put it to the side, but then I'd be like over here checking, double checking to make sure, and I mix with my ears, but you know, I still need to look at the screen for certain things. So this like frees that up even more. And then plus there's so many parameters that you could get to in the screen, and it's really easy to use. And I just would feel like I had handcuffs on if I didn't have the screen anymore. And everything that it involves.
What Shortee's saying, and we'll get back to this, I don't mean to cut you off, but what Shortee's saying makes it sound to me like it's almost the difference between using an analog DMX controller and then using software. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense to you?
There's just so many.
Makes it easier and takes a lot of the thinking out of it for you and more visual.
Yeah, absolutely. It really gets you to focus on where you're playing, and you know, gets rid of that Serato face that they call it. And you know, the other cool thing about having the screen there is being able to adjust so many different parameters. And you know how guys are they mod their cars and they mod their video games and video game computer consoles. You could do all that tweaky stuff within the 72 and really set it for the way you want to use it. You could change the fader settings. You could change the way the pads work. So many different things. Plus having the waveforms on the screen and being able to navigate the library, as Jake mentioned earlier, it really just brings a lot of focus to where you're performing.
Love it. All right, Shortee, I'm coming back to you. I'm giving you the full screen. Do your thing.
All right, so I just want to talk about just what he's saying. Like, even if you're just looking at like the cut in adjust, like here you can see. Let me see if I zoom in more, it's going to cut off the screen. But you see, these are little crossfaders, right? The up and down and up and the crossfader, and you can adjust like the cut in and cut out points. So like he's talking about modding your gear, like you can see that on you can do it in the software too, but not as granularly, in my opinion. Like, and you can actually see, like, if I'm adding more in there, you know, the blue line extends, and I can see, whoa, now you can drive a car through the gap between the wall and the fader, right? So I obviously like mine on 0 or 1, so it cuts in. But that's just one example. But there's a lot of different things that you can access. You can access all your mixer settings. So everything from audio out, your deck settings, your filter setup, so your filter knob. That, you know, that's here, right? And you can adjust the resonance and the cut and everything like that. The pad setup. So that is the parameters. You can adjust the, oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's these. the pads. The parameter setup is these buttons right here. And actually, I just learned something today that now with the new MK2, you can switch the functions of these buttons and make them so you can do instant doubles, and you just kind of, you click this and then you can go through, and so I can trigger sync if I want, or silent cue, instant doubles, custom, you know, or normal, just have the parameter buttons normal as they are. And then of course, like I said, the pads, the sensitivity, so you can adjust the sensitivity of them. Some people, you know, like the sensitivity all the way up, and some people don't, you know, they really want to beat their pads and they don't want the sensitivity so heavy. So there's a lot of different things, headphone setup, mic setup, all that kind of stuff. So that's in here in the mixer settings. Then the flex effects, and this is really dope because what I do is I pick just the effects that I use. So for example, you have all these different effects, and these are the onboard effects on the mixer. I'm not even talking about Serato effects, which you can then add in addition to the flex effects. But I really only use the filter and the phase. Whoops, let me get back there. The echo, reverb, filter, phaser. Those are the really ones that I use. So I block out, you know, you can turn it on and off with the green button right here. And then what this does is you select your effects, and then when you're back here, in your effects, then this is what you can scroll through easily, you know, and now it's just my favorite effects that I pick. So I'm not scrolling through like a laundry list of effects that I don't use, right? And of course the echo, like Jake said, is my number one right there. So, but I can access all those others. And then what you can also do is, so here we go, I hit the wrench, and now I can adjust like the depth of the echo, for example. Every effect has different parameters, but the echo, for example, has depth. So you just touch it, and then you can adjust it with this knob right here. And then same with the feedback, and then the HP cutoff. I like to have a little bit of a high pass filter on my echo. So I can set all that up in advance. I can even set the default beat increment, and I like my default beats to be on quarter notes, so that's 1 for those that are wondering what that is. And so then once that is all set up, then I go back over here, and now all the parameters are already set for this echo. And then, you know, if I want to change the beats, I could just click this and then adjust my parameters here for that. And that is just the flex effects. Then we have all the Serato effects, which you can also control and layer and do all sorts of stuff. But this live stream will be 10 hours long if I go through every feature. Just showing you some key features. And of course the sound waves too. Just being able to see the sound waves like in your eye line right here. I'm a scratch DJ, as you all know. I'm very attached to my mark in terms of being able to see where the beginning of the sound is, right? And I look at 12 usually, but then I also put little marks on my gear and stuff to you know, here, let me zoom out a little too. So you know, if I'm marking it in certain places, but for scratch DJs, it's all about, and jugglers too, it's all about the mark, because it begins to be like a clock, and it's like where you put the placement is where your sound starts and all that kind of stuff. So with that, having the screen right in my peripheral, I can also see, I don't usually scratch and look at the screen, but I like to be able to see what's going on with the beat, and while I'm scratching, and then be able to then take my eyes off and look at the crowd, but then be able to just glance down and see what I need to see. You know what I mean? And with a computer, you can't do that. So that is why when people ask me, what should I get? Should I get the 70 or the 72? I'm like, dude, it's personal preference. You have to try both out.
You see the 70 next to you?
This next to me?
Yeah, in the
that's
stream?
That's a 72. And Jake's screen?
Yeah.
That's a 72, yeah.
Yeah, that's a 72.
That's what I thought.
I have a 70 up here.
It has the screen. It has the screen.
Well,
but yeah, but what I tell them is that, look, it's obviously a budget thing sometimes. Sometimes you just don't have that extra $500 to put into a mixer, and I totally get that. But what I would say is touch it. Try it out. Try to go to some place and actually, because ultimately you need to just know what are the key features that you're looking for, good quality preamp, good, you know, faders, up and down faders, good EQ, all the features and functions that you're looking for. But at that point, it's all personal preference. So for me, I prefer being a very sensory person, to have the screen, and now that I've had it, you can't take it away from me. But if someone is like Jake, who's like, you know what, that's really overwhelming, and I just need to strip things down, otherwise I get really confused and it holds back my creativity. Some people are like that. Then I would say go for the 70, but either way, you got to try it out. And listen to the DJ's Guru, because Justin is going to give you lots of great information about all the features and functions to look for to empower you to make the right choice for you, and not just what's hot and trendy. But ultimately, if you can get your hands on it just to try it out, and even if it's just buy it, don't hate me, Rane, buy it, and then if it doesn't work out, return it and get the other one, because that's how you can try it out. You need to get your hands on it.
Rane's not paying that bill, so don't worry. Rain doesn't care.
But you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
That's on
I
the
guess
merchant.
Guitar Center would hate me, or Amazon, or whatever. But yeah, buy it, and then if it doesn't work out, just return it and get the 72 then.
You know,
or vice versa.
Most people don't return Rane mixers. Like, you know, I just don't get a lot back. You know, you just for a lot of reasons, and I think mostly because people make, you know, they probably overthink these choices a lot of times. So I'm glad that we had this opportunity to kind of discuss it. Jake, I honestly thought you had the 70 for some reason, so you could go back. We can see your face again.
Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna make a joke, but it totally failed. So anyway.
It's behind Andrew though. I see it. It's
yeah,
on
it's
Vegas
up here.
mode. It's all flashy.
Can you that's plugged in, huh?
Yeah, it's powered up. I can
Don't worry.
I can bring it here.
Get a screenshot from the Google machine.
It's all good. But I think at this point, the most important thing at this point is we want to hear this damn thing, and we want to hear Shortee play, because that's why everyone came. All right, and we want to hear what you can do with the 72 MK2. And I know you have a routine set up, and I want to give you an opportunity afterwards. We're going to talk about what we're going to be doing together, and then talk about what you're doing. But I want to hear a little bit of a routine first. So can you do your thing?
Sure. Yeah. Let me pop it in the overhead and put a little picture-in-picture going on. So yeah, I was just gonna do a little scratch sesh for you. This is an original beat by Urban Assault, which is myself and DJ Faust. Little swingy beat. It's called Swang. Yeah, and if you do the special thing that we're about to announce later, you will get this beat as part of that as well. And the sounds I'm going to use are from the Scratch DJ Toolkit, which is a free toolkit. I'll give you the link after this is over, so you can get the scratch sounds and a whole bunch of beats with that. But yeah, so I'm just going to scratch it up. I'm going to use my favorite echo effect. So right now I'm just making sure that my settings are correct here. I got 90 BPM, so it's the same. And I got my echo on quarter note. And I'm also doing this just to check, because I know I just messed with all the settings. So I don't want to go into a routine with it. Always double, triple check your stuff. Okay, cool. So we're ready. So let's just scratch it up and have some fun. you go.
Did I hear the purr? Did I hear the purr at the
Awesome.
end?
Yes, it was the purr at the end.
Oh, I heard it. I heard it. I knew it was the purr. That
That's
was
a little
Shortee's.
freestyle. Oh yeah,
That
the
was-
purr.
That's her scratch, man. That's her scratch. That's the Shortee scratch. Andrew, why does it look like a 1984 family photo right now with you in that mixer? It looks like something hanging on the wall at my parents' house. Like, look at the big thread I just made.
How about you could do like an arm around?
All right. So,
My prom date.
So this is the 70, right? This is the 70 with like a little what is that screen? What is that little thing in the middle?
So yeah, that's an OLED display.
The temperature?
And that tells you what effect you're using. Gives you a bunch of other parameters. And again, the cues come from the 62, which the 62 is the first one to have one of those screens on it. The 70 was really designed for direct access to all your effects. Just how Shortee described it, you could change so many of the parameters and go to the screen. That this is like plug and play, punch them in, punch them out, real simple controls, but the same paddle effects, same flex effects built in. So again, it's just a simpler way to do it. One thing that the 70 adds is a dedicated loop section here, which is not on the 72. So that's something that guys prefer as well. And again, this came from, as Jake said, feedback from the field. The guys who design this stuff are all DJs, and we listen to the market. We know that battle and scratch and open format performance DJs are very particular in the way they work, and they're all different. So we want to try and accommodate everybody, and we really do listen to the market. Just one thing I wanted to talk about or clarify a little bit, going back to the tension. You can adjust the tension on the upfitters, just not external. So you can take the panel off.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not external, but you can adjust the tension on the upfaders as well.
That's great stuff, man. And
yeah. Just to give you guys
when I saw that overhead, I swear I thought you had the 70, Jake, and I'm like, that's not the. I thought the 70 screen was a lot smaller, and that's what I thought.
I didn't mod
like.
it that hardcore. No,
There's a big difference. Holy cow!
Just to give you guys some idea of the inputs and outputs and controlled it. The physical size is exactly the same, 70 and 72. Sound card is the same. Build quality is the same. And this thing's killing my arm. Honestly, it's heavy and it's truly built like a tank.
Give a little hug for us, Andrew.
There is one key difference in the headphone. The way the headphone cueing works on the mixer, that's a throwback to the old Rane mixers. And I remember when Rane switched it on the 62 to the knob, and all of us were like, "Where's our fader headphone?" The headphone pan. So you brought that back on the 70, which I really appreciate.
That's right. Yeah, and again, just feedback from the market, something that guys miss, just like you mentioned. So you could just crossfade real quick from deck to deck on the headphone, just like you would on the crossfader.
I don't want to hold you guys up too much longer, but before we get to Shortee and I's little announcement, I want to just go to our audience and just say hello. Ronnie, we had some questions, so I figured we'd answer some questions. It's easy to scratch on the Rane. I mean, if you're DJ Shortee, sure. And Ronnie, listen, I don't know how to scratch. I'm going to let you know when we announce something a little bit later, so I will let you know about that. I'll tell you soon. You ask me in about 3 months.
I can answer that question. It's a yes. The answer is yes. Yes, it's easy to scratch on the Rane.
Not for me, I guess.
As long as you have scratching skills or you're learning to scratch, it's definitely a scratch mixer and a mixing mixer. So it's the best of both worlds. So if you're going for just like a mixing mixer, like maybe one of the old Allen and Heaths, for example, that's not a good scratching mixer, right? So that would be a hard no. It's great for mixing, 4-band EQ, whatever, but for scratching it is not. So to answer your question, yes, Ronnie, the Rane is excellent for scratching. It's one of the reasons why I've used it for like 25 years or however long I've used it. 23 years. 23 years I've been using Rane mixers.
What's up, Nick? Nick wants to see the video of you playing when you weren't on video for Arsenio Hall.
Oh, I don't have it. I wish.
I don't know. L. Hello from Georgia. Admin of Facebook groups. Good for you. The kid 007. What's going on, man? Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. And he's got something else to say here. He thought he was the only person who owned an MTX
I saw the
mixer. And his had the sampler on 19-inch rack mount. Remember when things used to be 19-inch rack mount, guys? Remember that?
Yep.
The industry standard.
Yep.
These don't come with rack screws? Yeah, I love mixing with the faders. I do too. That's all I do. My crossfader is off, you know? Rest in peace, Shock G. What's going on, Jorge? How you doing, man? What's up, Adam? And this guy likes you. The kid likes you, Shorty. He likes your energy.
Yay!
He likes your energy. By the way, she's using a Sony
awesome.
ZV-1 as her overhead cam. I'm actually also using a Sony
I love
ZV-1.
this camera. It's awesome.
So any content creators, I don't want to go too deep into this, but Sony ZV-1, both of us are using it, and it's fantastic for vloggers and anything that you're doing as far as video capture. What's up, Enrique? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. And David, I love you too. Who else? Eric! You know Eric, right, Andrew?
That's right. Yep.
All about the knobs.
Yep.
Let me see if here's a fun fact. Let's see if you guys can remember. I'll ask the audience first. Can anyone remember who the official, like the original sponsor of the Empath was? Or like who like designed it or was part of the design? Does anybody out there remember? I'm going to give you initials. GMF. Anybody?
It's very unexpected.
Yeah. All right, go
Considering
ahead.
it's all knobs.
Jake, go ahead, Jake.
Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah, Grandmaster Flash. And I remember in my previous life, he lived nearby and he was there and he did a whole thing with us. So
Eric got it.
Eric, yes, Eric got it. I sure hope so. I don't even think Flash uses it anymore, bro.
Eric's the last of the empath users.
I don't know if he ever used it. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Now, Shorty, let's bring it back to you. And does anybody else have any questions for Andrew, for Jake, for Shorty regards Rane 7072? Any questions, please ask them now or forever hold your peace, because now I'm going to give the floor to Shorty because she's got something very exciting that somehow she's gotten me involved in, and she's taking me out of my comfort zone because I've been a house DJ and a club DJ. Let me get myself back on screen here. Hold on.
Yes, it's weird just me smiling at you.
I like that. So I've been a dance music DJ. You know, not everybody knows this about me. I've always kind of hidden it, but I was a dance club and a club DJ since 1998. I worked out in New York City clubs in the Hamptons on Long Island. I'm in New York here, so for quite a while. Long story short, you know, I was joking with Shorty the other day. When I did clubs, it was either all house music or there was a hip hop room somewhere, and you know, and we lived in different worlds. I was not interested in that whatsoever. I listened to hip hop music. I love and appreciate it, but I never wanted to DJ it. So anyway, I can't scratch. So Shorty has something very exciting happening.
Yes. Okay. So basically, for those of you that don't know, I also teach DJing. I teach mixing, scratching, and beat juggling. I started DJing in 1995. I started teaching in 1997 with my first student. His name was DJ Anki, Pete Babb. Shout out to Pete. He's still my student to this day. He took a long break in between and then came back to me. But yeah, so I've taught classes, workshops, private lessons, tons of online courses for Hal Leonard and Groove 3. I wrote a book. I have a DVD series. I actually released the first ever DJ tutorial on video that taught all the elements of DJing, mixing, scratching, and beat juggling. It was on VHS back in 1999. So that's a little bit of history. And then we reshot it, and that became DJ 101, DJ 202, the DVD series, and then all progressed up until now. So that's my background as a teacher. I've taught for the Grammy Foundation, for Berkeley, Scratch DJ Academy. I was a head professor there for 4 years. I also taught at the Beat Junkies. So I got a resume.
Let me say this. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say real quick. She's not like some guy or girl who just hasn't been working and decided to start a DJ school. She has invested her life into building a curriculum, a legit curriculum that she has taught at universities, at really legit schools. This is not just some flash in the pan. This is a legit teacher. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I just wanted to
That's
validate.
okay. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Like you needed it from me, but I wanted to just do that. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I've been around the block, and I've taught for 23 years, going on 24 years now. And it's always been like throughout my DJ career, because I had a full-on artistic career as a producer and a DJ too. And so teaching has always been like a really solid side hustle for me, but always something that I've been really, really passionate about and has made me a better DJ being a teacher, because you got to break things down into steps and all these kind of things and articulate it so someone else understands. And then you start to really understand the concepts on a much deeper level. So I do it for selfish reasons too, because it's made me better. But then around the last 5 years, I've been like, you know what? I'm getting up in the world. I'm 45 right now, and I've been touring so much. And this is even pre-pandemic, just touring constantly, and my body hurts. And I'm ready for the next phase. And I love DJing, and I'll always be a DJ. But I kind of wanted to get off the tour treadmill and move on to the next phase. And teaching was just like the natural thing to move into, but full time. So now I've kind of flipped the scales, and teaching is what I am most passionate about when it comes to DJing. Now, when it comes to the skills of DJing, I love all the skills. Scratching is my favorite skill from DJing, because to me it's the truest way of actually playing the turntable as an instrument, because it's coming out of you, like the scratch. That rhythm didn't exist until I just did it. Yeah, the sound is on the turntable or whatever, but that rhythm came out of me, inside of me, my soul. Whereas beat juggling is like live remixing, right? So you have two like doubles of the same track, and you're shuffling it, or you're looping it, or you're pausing it, or whatever. Yes, it's like playing an instrument, but you're still kind of handcuffed to what is on the decks in terms of how you're going to arrange, the arrangements of the beats, and how you're able to do your juggles depends on the type of beat that you're using. And then mixing is like, those are selectas to me. So they're and I'm one of them, right? So you're creating sound collages. So you're not playing an instrument, you're blending songs and making sound collages and taking people on a journey, right? So I say all the my personal definitions for all those skills leading into what I'm doing right now, what I'm about to launch, which is I've been through my transition of being like, okay, I want to get off the tour treadmill. I want to make some more online courses, but I've made like 22 online courses in the past. And it's great for people who like to learn DIY, but in my private lessons, magic happens, right? There's magic that happens in private lessons, or even in a group class where you can like have a connection with the person, but private lessons especially, because it's that intimate setting, and you can really dive deep on mindset and all the things that block you, that you think you just need DJ skills, but really you need to clear up your mind, and so that you can think more positively, so you can get over these hurdles and stuff. So I wanted to kind of marry the magic that happens in the coaching process of private lessons with a program that's online, that's more accessible. Because to take my private lessons, I teach private lessons online right here in the studio, but you have to be, if you're in Australia, you have to wake up really early or stay up really late, so just the time zone wise to connect with me. And I do have students that are international, but I can't serve as many people with private lessons. And I don't want to open a DJ school, like a brick and mortar DJ school, because that's not really my thing. That's not what I want to do. And people are doing that great. The Beat Junkies are killing it. There's a lot of people that are doing that really well. So what I wanted to do was sort of be able to reach a lot more people, but marry the magic of the coaching with my favorite thing to teach, which is scratching, and make it an online coaching program with a course that I teach live over a 12-week time span. And then there's all these drills. I have it's basically a scratch system. So you're learning not only the scratches, but how to practice them strategically so you get results. And I have a whole bunch of proprietary methods that nobody else teaches but me, that I've honed over the last 24 years. And then of course I do Q&As and other types of stuff that a lot of people do. But there's a lot of methods that I do in my scratch practice system that are proprietary to me that I've seen get instant results. And if you've ever worked with me, even on one of my Scratch DJ workouts on YouTube, you'll see instant results in real time with some of these drills. But in the program, you're going to get all the magic sauce. You're going to get the magic sauce behind how I create the drills, so that it empowers you to be able to come up with your own combinations and your own patterns. Because teachers can teach a pattern all day, every day, or teach you a new scratch every day. But the most common thing I hear is, one, I don't know what to practice, and I just feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over. And two, I feel like I'm doing the same patterns over and over. Like, how do I learn more combinations? How do I put the scratches together? And so in this online coaching program, you're going to have really high touch. I'm going to be coaching you weekly throughout the week, but it's going to be a group, so you'll have the community. And then you'll have the scratch system, which will not only teach you how to practice with strategic drills that are already pre-recorded, and we're going to do some live as well, but you're also going to learn the secret sauce behind the system I've created to empower you to be able to create your own combinations and your own patterns, so you will never ever again be stuck with, like, I know these scratches and I don't know how to put them together, or I've learned this pattern and now I just sound like a clone of Qbert, you know, because I've learned his patterns, but now I just sound like him, but I'm not as good as him, or, you know, or I sound like Shortee, but not, you know, so, because your uniqueness is your superpower, right? So if you can take what you know and the influence, maybe you learn a pattern from Qbert, maybe you learn some scratches from the Beat Junkies, maybe you learn something from me, but then you can take this system and be able to, like, make sense of everything that you're learning and create something unique that's just for you. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. But this is an online coaching program that's going to last for 12 weeks. It's called Scratch Like a Pro. It's launching in June. I was saying May, but I've been building this custom course platform. It's really gamified, and so it's like got milestones and stuff like that. It's taking a little longer to build, so I'd rather do it right. And so we're going to push it a few weeks later to June, and it's going to launch with a free experience. And the free experience is going to be a week-long Scratch DJ boot camp, where I'm going to give you a taste of all these different types of drills, and we're going to do a deep dive into one particular scratch. I don't want to spoil it yet. And I'm going to show you all the different ways to apply this system to that scratch, and we're going to dig into mindset and stuff like that. It's completely free. There's going to be 3 training workshops, and then a scratch party, and live Q&A coachings in between also. And you can sign up for this free experience at scratchdjbootcamp.com. And then after that, we're launching the paid coaching program, the Scratch Coaching Program. And so with all that, if you go to scratchdjbootcamp.com, you can sign up for the wait list. You'll be the first to know. And then also on there, you can download the Scratch DJ Toolkit, which is something I referenced earlier in this stream with the scratch sounds. And so it's a bunch of scratch sounds and beats. It's totally free. So you get that. You'll get on my mailing list, and you'll get all the updates in real time. And so now the segue back to the DJ's Guru is that through this whole time that I've been creating this program, it's been years that I've been working on this, and it's finally, ready to unveil, and we're going to launch the first one in June. Through that, I also met Justin, and Justin, the DJ's Guru, and he started forming his company, the DJ's Guru. And as we were talking, I was like, man, it'd be really cool to involve you in this way, because in the program, it's not just me. I'm guiding you, I'm teaching you, I'm your guide on the side, I'm your coach. You're going to learn all the scratches from me and the combinations and on how to use the system and the drills and everything. But there's also some key mentors in the program. There's about 9 or 10 of them, and I'm not going to unveil them all now. I'll let you know when we launch, but they're all amazing mentors, and they all have individual and unique strengths. One of them is Justin, and he's the gear guru. So he is going to be in the program to answer any questions that you have about any gear, whether it be scratch gear or otherwise, how to set up a sound system, anything like that. And then, of course, then if you like working with him, you can work with him privately as well, and he can show you how to do that. But he's going to be the gear guru in the program. And in addition to that, he is also going to be a fellow student by your side. And he's going to be taking the entire Scratch Like a Pro program and basically holding your hand, like, with you, being a peer and also a mentor at the same time. So if you want to talk a little bit, I just vomited so much information. So feel free. And you're muted. You're muted.
So hi, how are you? Hi, it's Justin. So yeah, I'm your first student, and I'm nervous, but you're gonna help me through it, right? And what I'm gonna do on my Prime 4 is I'm gonna do a before, and then we're gonna do an after,
Yes.
the same kind of potential routine. I'm going to really show you how bad of a I don't want to say, I can open format, but how bad of a scratch or a turntablist I am.
Well, you just never learned.
It's laughable, but it's all right. I'm okay with that. I like to make fun of myself. But most importantly, the best part about all of this is that we're doing it all on Rane mixers, right? And
yes.
And I'm excited about that. And having you to be there, like I would never go to somebody else like to try to do this, but like I honestly want to learn how to do it. Like I want to challenge myself, and I'll say to anybody out there who has never learned how to scratch in 2021, as if you're a mobile DJ, if you're a private DJ, people have been off for the last year. They've gotten better. They've learned how to scratch. They've bettered their performance. And if you haven't picked up some sort of a new trick, you're probably going to find yourself in a not so good situation compared to people that maybe spent the time learning a new trick, learning a new way to do business, learning a different way to make money. So I really challenge anybody else, because I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to look like a fool. I don't care.
No, you're not. You're not going to look like a fool. Very safe, nurturing environment. That's
part of what I do is entertainment. So
no intimidation.
But it's fine. If I can do it, is what I'm going to say, then anybody out there could do it. And since you say it's easy to scratch on a Rane mixer, I guess that's all I need, right? So Andrew, I'll be on the phone with you tomorrow. Jake, we're going to be putting in another order. Or maybe I'll call Sharon at Rock and Soul, one of the three, and we'll get me a new Rane mixer. But this is going to be great, and I really appreciate you bringing me in and involving me in this, and I want you to just kind of take back over.
Yeah. Oh, I do want to say one thing, though. Yes, Rane is definitely prominently featured because that's my tool of choice, my instrument of choice. But you can learn to scratch on anything. This is not just for turntable, like people who have turntables or 12s. If you have a controller, you can learn from this too. As long as you have something hardware, some sort of DJ mixer with a crossfader and some up and down faders and some sort of player, whether it be a controller with a jog wheel, a CDJ, a 12, a turntable, just something. So you can't take this course if you're just using like your iPad and the little, virtual wheels. That's the one thing you can't do. But everything else, like, it can be learned on a controller. It's not gear specific. That said, of course, I'm going to use my instrument of choice. And yes, Rane is a great scratch mixer and a great mixing mixer too, but all the Rane mixers. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify that it's anybody can learn from this. It's not just for people with high-end amazing gear.
Yeah, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, and if Justin can even get off the resistance couch and do it, just the fact that he's saying he's gonna do it without even going through
records
it.
and throw it at acapella, no problem. And you watch me, go to my live streams, I do it, no problem. I cannot scratch anything over a solid beat.
Well, the first thing you're gonna learn is we're gonna take the word
I can dance.
Take the word can't out of your vocabulary because you're just going to keep blocking yourself, right?
You're right.
So you can do this, and you've done it in certain ways before. We're just going to up-level your skills, and then you're going to be like, man, I knew a lot more than I thought I did. And then you're going to feel good about it.
If I learn how to scratch, that's it. That's it. It's on. We have a couple quick questions for Andrew, Jake. Can I use the hub on those mixers to power a phase system? And now with Phase and Serato kind of working together, this might be something that's important to people. So,
Jake, do you know the answer to that one? The USB. Let me grab this again.
You stumped him, Enrique.
Yeah. So what he's talking about, if you don't know, is there's a USB hub built on the back of the 70 and the 72. I don't know what the power output is. Jake, do you know the answer to that, or?
I don't know what the power output is, but you can charge a phone on it, so I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's going to be really up to the requirements of Phase.
Okay.
I didn't know you could charge your phone.
It's a USB hub, so.
Don't let that get out to the public, though.
That seems like common sense, but of course I never thought of it that way.
Todd, how you doing, Todd? Thanks for watching. And Enrique, thank you for your question. Todd wants to know, will Rane decks work with VDJ? Oh, Jason, where are you? Where are you, Jason? Will they work with VDJ, guys?
But yeah,
Yes.
they will. Oh, the
Yeah.
MK2s will for sure. Let's see. Yeah. Well, you can see this one. So if I were to unplug from said USB hub and hold, you can switch through different DVS models. You probably can't see it from that camera, but there's Tractor, Virtual DJ, and Serato. And some of those work with other softwares from other manufacturers, but they're just not called that. The tones are close enough.
You guys have the relationship with Native Instruments as well?
Well, we have the tone.
Wow.
I'm sure there's some sort of relationship behind it, but yeah.
Well, I mean, like it'll work on the 7. Well, I mean, it'll work on the 72 because you guys have that.
That's the 12. Oh, you're talking 72. I'd have to get back to you on that one. I'm not sure on that one for sure.
Never mind.
Yes, 72. The good thing, all this stuff is designed in partnership with Serato, but the Virtual DJ also writes our products into all of their software. So as there's a software update, you could pretty much pick any in-music DJ product and use it with Virtual DJ.
Speaking of Virtual DJ, Jason, let me go on record and say, first of all, Jason, thank you, Jason. Thank you for actually saying you would miss your wife's birthday to come on the show just to be with us because he loves Rane and DJ Shortee that much. And no, he wasn't working with Hanson, but he said Andrew is the only acceptable substitute for the legendary Just Jay.
Maybe I need to change my name to Just A.
And
Just
he has something to say to you. Sorry I couldn't be there, and I know that the Rane team and Shortee will hold it down. All right.
Yay!
We got somebody already signed up.
Oh, yay!
So
Free Scratch DJ Bootcamp. Totally
All right.
free.
We're going to do it together, kid. We're going to do it together. DM me, man. DM me. We're going to do this together. All right, question. Listen, I'm the DJ's guru. So, I work for the DJs. So, I got to put you guys, under the fire when I get a question like this. 2 weeks ago, somebody called out DJ Digital Dave. I let Digital Dave answer for himself. He answered it properly. It was great. I want you guys to answer this question because I have a feeling there's a misconception here. And I want you guys to clear it up. Why doesn't Rane DJ support Brazilian DJs? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know why he would think that. Renner DJ, if you want to comment down below, give us more information. But I know Rane's available down there, right, guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a sales team dedicated to Latin America.
Yeah, so I mean, if there's anything else that you have that you want to drop down in the comments, let us know. But as far as I know, Rane is down there. So
I know I have a lot of fans in Brazil. Weirdly, I don't really know why actually, but I have a lot of connections with people in Brazil on Instagram, and most of them use Rane products. So they seem very supportive. They've never complained. Granted, I'm not a Rane rep. I'm just an endorsed artist. So just making that clear. But actually, for me, I usually get the unfiltered, unvarnished, feedback from people that they might be afraid to tell the company directly. And none of the Brazilian DJs I've ever encountered have ever mentioned anything about that. So that's totally new to me as well.
You can reach out to the DJ's Guru. We have Spanish-speaking, hablamos español, the DJ's Guru on our website and also through our social media. So feel free to reach out to us with any Rane questions, and we'll be happy to help you out and get those answers for you. I'm not really sure what the issue was, but
oh, he just wrote again.
He said we have DMC champions too.
And right. Rane USB hub is 5 volt. Oh,
5 volt, 500 milliamp.
That's somebody else. Don't worry about that.
Sorry. So this is why I don't run the chat.
More importantly, Jason's wife is watching too.
Oh, happy birthday!
It's like a birthday date.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Jason Longobardo.
Happy birthday.
All right. Well, listen, I've held you guys too long as it is. Shortee, is there anything else you want to add tonight? And does anybody else have any questions out there? Drop them down while Shortee kind of wraps it up for us, and then I'll get to Jake and Andrew.
I just want to say that if you ever want to connect with me, my website's djshortee.com. It's on the screen right now with 2 E's. and that's where you can get all the free downloads, all the scratch kits. There's a scratch scratch the vote scratch kit that I released around the election. It has all these inspirational speakers and stuff that you can scratch, and a couple dope exclusive beats in that as well. And then the Scratch DJ Toolkit, which you can get on my website, also the scratchdjtoolkit.com, and I think Justin has shared it as well. And that's 11 exclusive Urban Assault beats that you can't find anywhere else. And the scratch sounds that I was scratching in my little freestyle sesh earlier, you can get all those for free. And then you get to be one of my VIPs because you'll be on my mailing list, and you'll get all like tons of freebies and cool surprises and stuff like that. And then of course the scratchdjbootcamp.com, that's how you sign up for the wait list for the free experience. And yeah, and if you want to reach out to me on Instagram, it's at DJ Shortee. That's where I play the most. I don't really hang out on Facebook all that much or anywhere else. So if you want to hang with me, that would be on Instagram. But I just want to give you all a big virtual hug and just share the love, and just know that we're all in this together, and things are opening up and everything. But no matter what happens, we've all gone through this experience together, and we're stronger for it. And I know that whatever happens in the future, it's going to be a renaissance, because if you look at your history, back after every pandemic, there's always a renaissance, and we are the artists. We are going to be part of that renaissance. It's already happening, right? And so that's just so exciting to me, and I just want to give you tons of love moving forward, and how we can celebrate and experience this renaissance together.
Awesome.
The Roaring 20s, the new Roaring 20s. I tried to coin that, and it hasn't caught on yet, but I'm waiting for it to catch on. So it's also Earth Day, so happy Earth Day to everybody. I wanted to also say that. Andrew, final words?
Hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for supporting Rane. If you have Rane 1s on order, be patient, hold your back orders. We will fill them. We can't build them fast enough. It's really an exciting time for Rane.
Jake.
Yeah, well, just thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Shortee, for showing us all up and how inadequate we are as DJs. We appreciate that. But we know
I'll teach you.
There's a solution now. There's a solution. We can take it first. So thank you all, and just reach out to us on the Rane socials. Feel free to share routines, and, quick cuts, quick cut session videos with us. We love to get that content from our Rane DJs and like to share it. So yeah, reach out to us.
And thank you to Justin. Thank you to Justin, the DJ
Thanks for having us, Justin. It was great to be here.
Listen, I just want to say this. As I said earlier, everyone on the stream is a DJ. So, my whole thing has been like this thing against corporate world in a sense. So the fact that Rane was so happy to jump on this stream as a corporation to talk to their audience, to take the bad feedback as well as the good, to sit there and to answer questions. This is a company that is here for you guys as DJs, and is here for me. Listen, I can say this now. I use some Pioneer stuff. I love Pioneer to death. They make great stuff. I personally, like Shortee, have always used either Denon or Rane. That's just what I have always used, personally. Not for any reason other than I've always used it. It's never failed me, ever, ever. So take that for what it's worth. I talk straight, and I have Pioneer stuff that I love too. So not about that, but Rane stuff, and my Denon stuff, I love it. So anyway, that's what I have to say about that. And I just thought that this was a great combination of people to talk about the Rane brand. So I want to thank our audience, most importantly. Real quick, I already know the answer to this question, but Shortee, what's your favorite turntable? Other than what's your favorite analog turntable? I'm sorry.
Techniques. Techniques, of course.
Yeah.
But my favorite controller is the Rane 12, because it's literally just like the turntable. And I will say a quick story. When the 12s debuted a few years ago, at the same time that the 72 debuted, Rane called me up and asked me to showcase it at NAMM. And usually when I showcase at NAMM, I'll at least get the gear like a couple weeks before. It's still not that much time to get familiar with it, but I'll at least get to touch it before I demo it. But this was one event where I did not get to touch it. I was so freaked out by the 12s because I was like, they wanted me to like juggle and do a bunch of tricks. And I was like, I've never even touched these things before. You know, I prefer turntables, and they're like, don't worry about it. I'm like, it's not you up there, it's me. You know, my rep's on the line. So I was so stressed out. I wasn't stressed out about the mixer at all, ironically. It was just the 12. So when I got up and I was performing 2 days, the first day I got up and I started my showcase, and the only thing that reminded me that I was not on techniques or turntables in general was the fact that I kept reaching for the tone arm. To move the needle back on the control vinyl. It's not even to like take the thing off and put it, right? It was just because usually on the control vinyl, you got to bring it back or whatever. And so that's the only thing that reminded me. It was so seamless. So my preferred controllers are definitely the 12s. Now the mixer, it was a beta mixer. It had a problem that day, but it was like the very first time it debuted, and then the next day they fixed the problem, and the set was amazing. But yeah, the 12s are, if you're asking me what my favorite controller is, I consider them turntable controllers, even though it's not a full like DJ controller, would be that. And then of course the Rane 1, because it's literally just miniature versions of the 12s in a more mobile controller. So, and I know if you guys got them on back order, just wait. Like Andrew said, they're coming for you. But yeah, so techniques, but if I'm going for controllers, it's the Rane 12s definitely, or the Rane 1.
All right, I think we answered all the questions real quick. Just because it's Throwback Thursday, we had this before. I found pictures. Rane Empath.
Look at those
That's what Eric loves.
There's the blue one with the regular fader.
Yeah.
There's the one with the rotary. That's what Eric probably still has. And this is my setup. That's my MP44. Look at that rust on those screws, baby. That's my
well worn.
Oh, and that's when you had the EQ on every channel. So that was before the 24. That's the 44.
Oh God,
That's
I killed that thing, man. Oh, I love that mixer. I still have it right in front of me right now, and I love it. Love it. Anyway, guys, thank you, and girls, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Really had a great time tonight, and I appreciate it. So I just want to say that, and thank you for everyone who tuned in tonight. Thank you for everyone watching on the replay. I don't have any giveaways tonight, but listen, if you order from me, I'm pretty sure that everyone gets something. You know, I send something to everybody at some point, whatever it is. So, you know, give me a call. I'll hook you up.
You do have free giveaways. The Scratch DJ Toolkit is free. They can download that right now.
Scratch DJ Toolkit. Go to DJShortee.com. You got that, or the ScratchBootcamp.com, right? Scratch DJ Bootcamp and Scratch DJ Toolkit. I put everything in the comments. You got plenty of free stuff there. But I don't have a giveaway tonight because literally there's nothing in stock with Rane. It's like can't keep the stuff in stock. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on the next one. 2 weeks we're going to be back. We have a show on collaboration. Very excited about that. Andrew, Jake, Shorty, thank you so much, and we'll see everybody on the flip side. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.